Hey there, I'm m9zlQE2r3f8. Today we are looking at a skin called Abstract. I was pleasantly surprised when I opened up this skin. It's just nice. The tabs up top have a parallelogram design along with the polygonal background. Almost everything has a background like this, including the main menu. The song buttons leave no room for complaint. They look good, they fit the skin's theme, etc. I'd like to point out the star icons. For unselected songs, they pop out of the song button, but they look pushed in on the selected song button. It's a neat little touch. The bottom section is pretty barren, but I think the quality of the buttons here makes up for it. There are two elements that you will see a lot of in the skin, the teardrop shape and the polygonal background. All of the mod icons look fantastic, sporting an eye candy design, a nifty icon, and an abbreviated mod name. They all get a color based on how they affect gameplay, say for Perfect, Nightcore, and Score V2. The text on them is mostly readable, however, I don't think that a downwards drop shadow was a good idea here. If you look at the hard rock and hidden icons, the top of the H isn't readable. The ranking title has been skinned out. I'm not sure why, and I don't think it should have been, but I also don't think it would be worth a con, so I will just leave it as an over-explained point. The gray letters are cool, more of that teardrop shape with a poly background. The replay button is unique, but I would wager that the image should instead be a tiny bit larger and without the text. It still looks nice though, so I can't really complain. There's a poly background that takes up the whole screen, but only starts to obscure the matte background for the panel. On that topic, the panel looks decent. It is neatly organized and labeled. The numbers pop out due to the slight glow they have. If this font looks familiar, that's because it is. This font is Source Sans Pro, and we use it for our assets. The versatility of the back button is worth a mention. It looks equally great both here and in the song selection screen, which is somewhat rare for skins. I really wish that the normally unskinnable section at the top, just under the play data section, would have been skinned. It really breaks the design of the ranking screen since it just cuts off. The hit circles have a good design. They aren't fully opaque, so that people that need circle transparency in order to read stacks and streams shouldn't find much of a problem. The slider border color looks nothing short of appropriate. The repeat arrows are pretty damn slick as well. The key input area orients itself on a red versus blue color scheme, but each individual key has a different shade of its respective side's color. Since this looks pretty swell and this is a rather unique effect, I'll give Abstract a pro for it. The spinners look fine generally, but the design doesn't fit with the skin's poly theme. This is something I would expect in Hue Shift Glow. They also give no feedback when you're spinning. The health bar is pretty, but I think the color part of it is a bit too small. The pass and fail section icons are right up the skin's alley, no complaints. You're playing some CSGO, but all of a sudden, the game freezes and then crashes, leaving you with a black screen. As the immersion wears off, you find yourself feeling increasingly uneasy. You are uncomfortably aware of your surroundings now that your distraction is gone. That is the feeling I got from the pause loop. It is just complete silence. This is weird, and I would not call it a good thing. On the bright side, the screen looks cool. Oh, and so does the fail screen. The song select screen is pretty strong. It has a great look to it. The main issue I had was the slight unreadability with the mod icon labels. They are a little bit clumsy, but it's not like they make the skin unplayable or even unpleasant. The screen gets a 4.5 out of 5. The ranking screen is just awesome. It's all put together very well, from the gradient poly background to the organization of the panel. I did list the background cutting off at the top as a con, but I do not want to have it affect the score. This is a limitation forced by the client, and while there is a workaround, I think it's a little bit too hacky to expect from skinners. The ranking screen gets a full 5 out of 5. Abstract offers more than playable gameplay. The glowy pink cursor doesn't get lost, the combo colors are cool, and it's aesthetically pleasing. However, I think that the lack of a pause loop is really dumb. It's just silence. Same for the applause sound. Gameplay will get a 4 out of 5 for this. Abstract gets a 4.5 out of 5 under the fancy category. It's not the greatest, but it's pretty notable